can't speak for everybody else. You know, you're a barbarian, Anna. You can smash things. That's an awesome talent.
That's true. That's true. And then somebody takes away my axe, and I can't do anything anymore.
You can still punch. You could like kick, bite.
Well,
That's true.
yeah. Of course, they also barbarians tend to be also famous for like falling under the effect of charm spells. Like DMs love to say, "Okay, you think you can come at me with your tank? Here, charm spell. Your barbarian works for me now."
Oh yeah.
Ideas.
I didn't have to give him ideas. He's an experienced DM. He knows this already.
No, yeah, we were like in a boss fight, and my friends aren't min-maxers, but some of them kind of like lean in that direction. One of them had like a really crazy polearm barbarian, and the boss we fought was like a weird like Cthulhu monster god, and hit us with a whiz save spell, knocked out the barbarian for like the entire fight. It sucked for that guy.
Great foreshadowing. This is really great.
Okay. I need to like double check on here.
Alright, I'm gonna hit the. I'm gonna turn off my camera too.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess I'll keep the hat on. Okay, but I'll turn off my camera because I just might accidentally show you a drawing or something. Because I got like the little papers here. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out the sound. Okay, I don't think. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Double check the stream. I always have trouble with the audio on the stream.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Oh, on the stream?
Yeah, on the stream, yeah.
Okay, good.
Also, hi everyone.
Hey!
Sorry, I recorded before.
Okay, where are those notes? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that certain things are turned off. Okay, good. That looks good. I'm just waiting for my laptop to restart because I usually use it to monitor the stream myself. Let's see here, and I also just scanned something, so I want to like make sure it looks okay. Oh, okay, no. Scan. Okay. Actually, I do want this scanned and ready for you. I think you're gonna see it in a second, so I better have it ready first. Okay, I think we are, for the most part, okay. Is everybody ready? Do we need to adjust anything?
I think we're all good.
Okay. Alright. Okay, let me... Just give me like 2 minutes so I can get this drawing scanned. Okay, good, that looks alright.
And I just saw your picture of the Mesa in Twitch. It looks even better on my phone in Twitch.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, the stars are really pretty.
It's insane. It is
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Gorgeous.
Makes you want to
is
go
it long-
outside, right?
Hell yeah! I've been trapped inside for a year.
Yeah. Um. I guess that's the thing about science communication, right? You're inspiring people to do something, and that something is often not sitting inside listening to you. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, yeah, this is a simple sketch, we'll just go with it. But I would like it for a little bit later. I think we're gonna need it a little bit into this session. So, maybe I shouldn't tip my hand too much. But there's been a bunch of like stuff that I've tried to ideas I've tried to shove into this dungeon, and I'm hoping it all turns out okay. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Alright. Make sure that I have everything straight. Okay. Gonna upload that drawing right now. Okay. Okay, so I finished that drawing and I uploaded it onto Roll20. And hopefully we'll get to see it this session. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Goblin Town. Welcome, welcome. So everybody say hello.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Alright, so let me recap what happened last time. So let's see. You were chasing this mysterious group of people that were headed toward the Mesa. They were able to distract you, or at least hinder you with a darkness spell. And they made their escape. However, Gradal was able to wild shape into a owl and followed after them. With his help, you were able to track them to a specific ravine in the Mesa. Along the way, you did find some signs of wildlife, but you're not quite sure what they were. You haven't seen the animals themselves, but you've seen evidence of them around. In approaching the mysterious group, you decided to just meet them head on and be really frank and open about who you are. However, at least the leader did not seem to reciprocate, and when she explained her story and the purpose of her group, you came to the realization that she was lying. And for the group, she said that they were there to find some sort of fortifications or possible hiding place for the local people in case there was an invasion from the warlord Kulog, a hobgoblin that has amassed a warring horde in the waste. So there was something you thought was kind of strange about that part of the story. She also said 3 specific things about herself, and you know one of them is a lie. So she said that she fought against Kulog and then escaped the fighting. Number 2, she said she was born and had grown up in the wastes in a village there. And the third thing was she had moved to Clark and was now living in Clark, in an apartment in Goblin Town. One of those 3 was a lie. For now, you're able to play along with her game, and you are camping along with them here on the Mesa, in front of a cave. You decide to be at least friendly for now, until you can better ascertain her true nature and true purpose. The people in our party are a human who's nonverbal. You have Ethel, Tic Tac, and his pet Fufu, and those are the 3 goblins and the Moo. Moo's the leader, who's also a goblin. And finally, Pablo Bronze, who's a hobgoblin with a few tattoos. Very intimidating. Are there any questions or anything you'd like to add?
No.
No, I think we're pretty much good.
Okay.
Last I remember, we were basically sorting out through questions and process of elimination what her lie was, and we more or less came to the conclusion that she was lying about fighting against the warlord, because we were able to prove that she was staying in Clark, and I asked her specific information about the area where she was from, and she was able to provide that information.
Yeah.
And then I forget who it was, but somebody else brilliantly was able to figure out that she was indeed a resident of Clark.
That was Dagmar.
That was Dagmar. Ooh, nice job, Dagmar.
She knew about pig.
That's right.
That's true. That's right. She knew about Daintyfoot. I remember now.
Having a journal really helps.
Yeah, I mean, I write stuff down too. We all need it.
Yeah, good for memory.
So, when we start off, DM, are we still chatting with her, or have the parties gone their separate camps to camp for the night?
If you'd like, you can keep talking with her.
I think I would like to continue our conversation, but perhaps I should we should step away and head to our own camp to discuss what we should do about what we were able to deduce.
Am I echoing? I think I'm echoing, aren't I?
Sound fine to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At least on the stream, I feel like I'm echoing.
Yeah,
I'm not li-
on stream you are echoing.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have it where your mic could be picking up audio from the stream? Or is it just you that's echoing?
Yeah, hold on. Sir. Shoot. Let's see. Am I still echoing now? Okay, good. Okay, as long as I can still hear myself. Or as long as everyone can still hear me, right? Okay, yeah, I got it now. Oh, but I saw found right now. More or less, right? Or is there something specific? Oh, okay. Let's see here. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, I don't hear you picking. Okay, so this is. Hold on. Oh, wait, did it stop?
Well, now you're echoing again.
Ah, dang it.
Oh, but I can hear me, so. Fixed one problem just to cause another.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me see here. Shoot. Yeah, yeah, because it's, I know that I have to monitor my mic. Yeah, thank you. Technical difficulties. It always happens. It stinks. Okay, hold on. That's not it. One. Uh, uh. Okay, wait a minute. What? Hold on a second. Did I just pick the wrong? Okay. Yeah, let me readjust the. Okay, no, that's. Yeah, it messed up on the stream for a second. That's weird. 'Cause I didn't touch it, but for some reason the stream messed up how I set up the text boxes and stuff like that. It's weird.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's weird, like. So now you can see me readjusting the text box or chat box. Yay! Oh my goodness, there goes all the sense of suspension of disbelief. Okay. I think that's good. Maybe. Okay, well, I think we'll leave it at that. Okay. Okay. So that's good. Man, I spent like an hour like readjusting all this to get it look perfect. Don't move. All right.
Aww.
Okay, does everything look okay? I'm not echoing?
You're still echoing on stream. Everything looks okay. Do you have maybe it's picking up from your desktop audio? Like, do you have roll 20 picking up your audio? Like, do you have your mic muted on that?
That's what I was trying to do, like, um... Yeah, okay, so I just muted all my windows. Okay. That's that. Okay. Yeah, because I know that Roll20 can also pick up sound, but we usually don't use sound on Roll20.
Yeah. Well, I usually always mute mine just in case.
Okay, let me up my volume here on my laptop. Yeah, I still sound terrible. Hmm.
Yeah, it's still echoing really bad. I don't know. I have no idea what it could be.
Huh, let me see. That's weird. Huh.
Oh, do you because I know before we started everybody had their webcams on. Is in OBS is your webcam listed in the audio? If it is, then mute it because that could be giving you feedback too.
Okay. Well, I'll like cheat and just straight up unplug it. Just make sure I grab the right plug. Oh, there goes the stream. Oh, I'm still echoing, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Wow, that's all I could think of that could possibly be the issue, so I have no idea what's wrong, Daryl. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna start crying. You were right, Ellen. You were right. The tarot cards were right.
Aww.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here I'm gonna try something else. No, wait. Okay, I I'm trying to see if shoot, because I always
Oh,
get confused.
you're not echoing anymore.
Okay, but you can hear me, right? Okay, yeah, okay.
I
I don't hear the echo on myself either.
Yeah, I can hear you. I could hear myself, and I don't hear the echo anymore. So whatever you did, it fixed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same here.
like this is the thing that irritates the heck out of me about OBS and stuff in the streaming is that it like sometimes it wants me to like specifically listen to the mic, and sometimes it doesn't want me to listen to the mic. So it's like, what does it want me to do, man? I don't know.
Does that mean the intro was super echoed?
I
Well, no, it
guess.
means that because what happened. No, maybe it was echoed, or we couldn't hear you, or we couldn't hear us.
Which,
And then when you
yeah.
fixed it, then you started echoing.
We always spend 30 minutes dealing with technical difficulties. I am
know,
gonna
we
have
should-
to start this at like an half an hour earlier so I get this all fixed.
We're gonna have to start meeting at 3:30.
Well, that just means I have to start the
Problem with the
stream at
recording.
3:30.
Could just have like a pre-stream that doesn't go on YouTube, just figuring out all this.
Yeah.
But hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hello, we are just starting our game right here, right now. We did not have all sorts of tomfoolery for 30 minutes.
And if you didn't think we were real, we are. And this isn't just a game where the DM talks to himself. we're real.
Oh. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a 30-second thing. Okay, the group has been following a group that they think are looters to this mesa. They think this group is about to loot the heck out of this cave, but they're not quite sure whether they are or they're not. They know they're lying about something, but they're not quite sure what. Particularly about the leader Mu, about whether she has any association with the warlord Kulog, who is waging war with his warring horde to the north. Um, so you were just thinking about whether you're going to step off to the side, um, and have your discussions, or you're going to continue to talk with Mu and the rest of the group there. Um, Cassandra the human, Pabu Bronze the hobgoblin, Ethel, Tic Tac and his pet ferret Fufu, and so go ahead, make a decision. Are you gonna keep talking with them, or are you gonna step off to the side to have your discussions?
I agree with stepping off to the side, just to have everybody be on the same page. I say gruffly.
Sounds good. And maybe we should, after we've had a bit of a talk ourselves, come back and come up with a plan together with our new friends that we've made tomorrow as to what we're planning on doing in the morning. As long as we're not interrupting their sleep in anything or anything. I wouldn't want to interrupt their sleep.
Oh yeah, they have. Oh yeah, good. We have our them labeled down here at the bottom.
should we have our tokens move off to the side?
Yeah, I mean, like, you could sort of arrange yourself however you'd like.
Imagine so, because we'll want to set up our own camp.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have
You know, we're gonna need sleep too.
to go over this way. Fred can just stay
Let's
there.
see.
It's fine.
Where am I? I gotta move me. Here I am.
Oh, well, I accidentally put myself on there twice.
She duplicated.
I have
How did
cloned
you clone
myself.
yourself from the last game?
Kage Bunshi no Jutsu!
I'm multi-classing. I don't know how to
Fucking
get rid of
awesome.
that though. Does the DM need to delete it or?
I
No,
can
you
delete
should be able
it.
to just. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I could do either. We can do it either way.
We're standing in a straight line, of course, because like,
We can start drawing our own camp. A little campfire. I
Shannara
can
is
make a
dangling
campfire.
off the edge.
Some bedrolls. You don't mind DM that I'm drawing these, do you?
No, go for it.
How cute!
Yeah, you are free to
then-
draw whatever you like. Just
That
as
is
long as you don't
awesome.
draw chalk on the petroglyphs.
There's one for Fred. And tiny
And the
little bedroll for the chicken.
Nice.
God dang it. This is hell.
So, whoops. So we can have our conversation if we want. So I'll share my suspicions based on the conversation that we had with Moo, and say what we think she may be lying about. What does everyone else think?
She knew about the pig. She's definitely been to Clark.
This is true, and she also knew about the plague from before and what was going on up in the territory where she was originally from. So she knows that. The question is, did she in fact fight against the warlord or for the warlord?
Yeah, that seems suspicious.
Yeah.
She
And if they
could
are
be a
looking to try a fortification, then maybe they're scouting a fortification for the warlord rather than for the opposing forces.
Or the warlord wants to get her
But-
hands on the evil objects, which we can't let her have those either.
By the way, DM,
Yes.
while we're having this conversation, I'm going to sort of peek over my shoulder at our new compatriots over in the camp and see if I can read any of their lips as per my observant feat.
So for the most part, when they speak in common, and they don't particularly seem to hide their conversation. They are, it's just sort of like small talk and complaints about getting up there, complaints about mosquitoes, mud, ticks, the heaviness of their packs.
Ticks. Damn you, ticks.
Also, DM, thank you for already ruining my journal. I spelled foo-foo differently. In 10. Off to a great start.
Okay, Fufu is illiterate, so you can spell it however you like, okay?
I just glance down and it's like, oh no!
Look, my suggestion is for you cross out Fufu, but try to make it look like a bunch of paw prints, sort of looking like Fufu. So it's like, okay, that's how the Fufu spells it.
I try to do that.
They do talk. Um.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna send Gradal a message.
I could whisper to Fufu because I can talk to animals.
That's true. Okay.
Hmm.
So most of everybody can sort of hear these conversations. It's just sort of like, okay, fairly typical, nothing particularly suspicious. Occasionally the conversation goes silent because they start to use sign language with Cassandra. Because Cassandra will say something to them, so they as far as you can tell, Cassandra's not deaf, right? But sometimes they like to respond back in sign language. So there are a few gaps in the conversation, but otherwise it doesn't seem very sinister.
Mm.
However, at a
If-
certain point, the conversation does go silent for a fairly long time. Or it's very, very broken because they're using like a sign language. So I'm gonna send Gradal a few messages here, but otherwise you can continue your conversation.
If we can hear their conversation, does that mean that they can hear ours, or I'd imagine we're trying to speak in rather hushed tones?
Well, if you look at the actual distance between you, right, this is right. This is, if you see this, you're about, let's see, like that's 25 feet. You can imagine that at 25 feet, you can still hear each other if you speak loud enough. But if you whisper, then it's very, very difficult, and you can assume that they're not actually paying attention to you.
Hmm.
I assume a secret message has been passed.
Oh,
Is that right?
a series of them.
Oh gosh.
So some different parts of the conversation are whispered. So I'm going to whisper to my compatriots what they're saying. And do I know who's saying each of these things as they say it?
It's mostly the goblins. It's mostly the goblins. Habu the hobgoblin and Moo are mostly silent.
Right. So they're saying, "Are we gonna do it like we practiced? What, in front of them? They'll find out sooner or later. Scary. Hopefully something good." So I'm picking up like little bits and pieces of conversation. But apparently they're gonna do something in front of them that we would normally find out about sooner or later.
Huh.
If they begin practicing for a dance competition, I'll be very pleasantly surprised, but I doubt that's it.
Probably not.
Okay. One of them is saying, "My brother's friend's cousin said he saw one once."
Saw one what?
This is the thing that worries me. They know that we were in that battle against the Barghest, and there was a rumor about there being another one. But what if they think that one of us are one?
Oh, afraid of us?
Well, they could be afraid. They could be afraid of us. I don't know why they'd be afraid of me. I'm basically a glorified florist over here.
running joke of tonight.
Hey, I said it before the stream, so this is fresh for everybody who's on Twitch. All right, only come up with
Called out.
in one night. So yeah, but that's basically the gist of their conversation.
Maybe if we get one of them to trust us. Should I talk to the ferret?
I
Well,
love you so much, Jack.
I mean, they mostly finish up the dinner and sort of pack up and clean up and sort of put things away. And it looks like they're about to get up and do something. So you can continue to discuss and just watch them leave or whatever.
Maybe if we gave all of them flowers.
Flowers? You could.
Now that hasn't been done yet, right? What do you guys think we should do? If they're
Well-
packing up, doesn't that mean they're about to go somewhere? So shouldn't we pack up to? Oh, and they're heading out. So should we follow them?
Are they heading out to the cave?
Yeah, it looks like they're heading to the cave. They're not like it's not. They're not packing up their bedrolls. They just put away their utensils. They wash their pots and pans with sand. That's a backpacking dip.
So I'll walk up to Moo because we already kind of had a rapport. She's the one in red,
Yes.
and I'm gonna say, "Are y'all headed into the cave?"
Into the cave? No, not exactly. We're gonna do something here at the front of the cave.
Uh-huh. What are you guys doing? I mean, what are you guys doing?
You'll see. It's nothing big. Don't worry about it.
Well, we might
Insight
want to go
check.
into the cave too.
Insight check.
Roll it then. Go for it.
All right. Sorry, going to.
Can I roll something as well? We want to roll something. Oh.
Okay, let's see. So just Gradle and okay, a perception deck more.
Yeah, I mean, they might be doing. I don't know. They could be doing something with their hands. There's a lot of hands.
Okay.
Question it.
Okay. So Gradle's the only one who did an insight check. I mean, any of you can do an insight check if you'd like, or a perception check. But both are fine. Okay, so I'll send you messages depending on what roll you did. So
Oh, a theory.
Oof.
I'm clueless, as always.
a theory. Genera. Oh, okay.
Am I the only one who perceives things?
Okay. All right. So let me make sure I send it. Okay, there we go.
So she said it's nothing to worry about.
And then a theory. Okay, for a theory, let me see if I can send one specific to you. A theory. Let me think.
I rolled a 1.
Good start. Good start.
A
The
shield.
theory in this this is a theories arc here.
Theory gets a clue.
Okay, for Dagmar, let's see, what do we got? Let me see. Let's see. You Dagmar actually, because everybody here has dark vision, right? Okay, so
Mhm.
so you can actually see quite fairly well into the cave. Um, so I'll do this one. Uh,
Mhm.
okay. So the Cassandra, Cassandra begins to clap and stomp her feet.
They are doing a dance routine.
Oh, very good. And as she builds up a rhythm, the rest of the goblins, or the rest of the mysterious group, begin to clap and stomp their feet in rhythm, following Cassandra's lead. Um, uh, the rhythm of her clapping gets a little bit more complicated. Um, and the goblins are doing their best to sort of uh, clap and stop in following rhythm. Eventually, Cassandra stops, holds out her hands wide, and everybody else lets out a big cry. Oh!
They're
Are
raging.
are are they trying to get something to come out of the cave?
Cassandra looks over at Ethel, and so let me see. Ethel is the blue one. Ethel is the blue one, and is the orange one. So they step forward, and they actually step into the cave. Oops, just a little bit into the cave there. They pull something out of their pockets, and they place it on the ground inside the cave. Um, and then they come back out.
And we see what it is that can I roll like a perception check or something to see
Yeah,
what they dropped?
yeah. Go ahead. If anyone is concerned with whatever it is, you can roll a perception check to see if you can sort of strain your eyes to see what exactly it is on the floor. But Moo basically turns to you. Moose is like, "Okay, we're done. That's it. Don't worry about it. Just don't touch it." And so they just walk past. You walk past.
Huh.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Can I?
Dagmar, I'd keep your distance.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
It's up to you. Up to you, Dagmar. You can go in there and look at it yourself.
No. I was advised by my friend not to do that.
I'm going to back over to, well, not sneak, but head back over. So with my perception check, I have a suspicion of what it might have been, but I would love to see with my perception check if the DM can, in fact, confirm my suspicion.
Okay. Um. So for a theory engineer, it just looks um like a cloth bundle. Like they just had something like in a cloth bag or like wrapped in a bit of cloth that they just placed on the ground. That's all you could tell. For you, Gradal. See you, Gradal. Right.
It's not what I was suspecting. I was suspecting that they didn't want us to go in the night, so I thought maybe they dropped like a glyph of warding or something, which is why I was telling Dagmar not to go near it. But it's not that. The cloth that whatever that was wrapped in looks like something from the Grain Grinders Guild, from the bakery back at Clark. It seems to me like that after that little dance, they left some kind of offering at the mouth of the cave.
I was just wondering that.
Okay. Moo's like, all right. Good night, everybody. Sleep tight. We have a whole lot of exploring to do tomorrow. Let's see. I guess I forgot to do a bedroll for Ethel and Cassandra. So I guess I gotta draw something for them over here. Give me a second. They need little bedrolls too. Okay, there you go. Okay, they're asleep. Shoo. Shoo. Okay, let's see here.
Well, we're going to sleep too, but we should probably have a plan of action before we do. Watches also wouldn't be a bad thing.
What could there possibly be here on the Mesa?
Famous last words from the DM.
Right? I mean, lots of things live in caves. They just left food out.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, we saw all their tracks, so.
I have this giant feather still.
Are you gonna put it in your cap?
No, it's going to my dig kit.
Yeah. Oh, this did come from a recommendation. Because I think Sarah was talking about this on one of her podcasts. Actually, there's a Japanese horror movie called The Goblin, I think in English, and there is an archaeologist in it who, instead of having the brushes to sort of brush away the dirt out of the side, he had a bunch of like feathers shoved into like an egg beater, and so he just like hit the button and they'd spin the feathers like super fast, like a feather duster, and he would just wipe away the dust very gently.
Nice.
Cool.
Starts Googling egg beater feather duster right now.
All right, well. So go ahead, describe
Alright.
what you're going to do for the night then.
I'll take first watch if people want to sleep.
I'll take second.
I can
Are
take.
any-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was wondering,
guess-
are any of the other goblins taking watch? Or are they all going to sleep?
They all went to sleep. Yeah, Moo is sort of the last one to fall asleep. Like you can tell as her eyes are open, she's sort of looking into the campfire. She glances
Not
up
at
at you a
us.
few times, but she does look at you, but she doesn't stare at you. Um, so, but she eventually falls asleep.
Because I'm thinking if we want to get the truth out of her, I could do charm person, but the problem with that is that that expires. That goes that way after a little bit. And after about an hour, the spell would end, and she would know that she was charmed. You know when it ends. So we can get the truth out of her, but we might provoke something if we do.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would respond well to that.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. But we have to figure out the truth somehow.
Any suggestions, Janera, Dagmar? A theory?
Well, we're going to be spending a lot of time with them in tight, close-knit quarters tomorrow, right? We'll get
Yes.
the truth out of them tomorrow. Probably.
Probably.
And if not, I'll beat it out of them. And if not, I'll charm it out of them. And if not, I'll keep trying to beat it out of them.
One of those things generally doesn't follow the. You know what? Never mind. Just go to sleep, Dagmar. It's okay.
What are you
You're really
talking about? Worked on the mirror.
you're really taking the Jack Bauer approach, Dagmar.
Okay, so I'll take the
Meetings
second
will
watch.
continue until morale improves.
Yes! That was my field school slogan! We had a flag! Alright, I'll take the second watch.
Okay, so we have a theory, Dagmar, and then is anyone gonna take the third watch?
I'll take the third watch.
Okay, Gradal.
Okay. I guess I'm last then.
Okay, so
Well, I mean, Fred?
Fred?
Was Fred... Again, what is Fred doing?
But do you trust Fred? He's already asleep. Him and the damn chicken.
As always, at the end of every decision, what's Fred doing? And he's just like, I'm asleep.
Well, actually, that chicken probably should be inside the cage right there, so I'm gonna put that chicken right there. How? Or maybe like the chicken's in the cage. Fred takes the cage off his back and puts it down on the ground. Oh. Okay. If you hear you might be hearing this. That's the sound of dice in a tin box.
Just as an ask, Daryl.
Yes.
How do you like using dice trays? Because I'm considering purchasing one. Because I've had many an errant die go flying onto the floor.
I honestly am a doofus, and I keep throwing it outside the tray. I either just miss the tray entirely, or I throw it too hard and it bounces out. But otherwise, it's actually quite a bit of help. You don't need it. It doesn't need to be a lot of really fancy. I have a nice, the one that I have I like because it actually folds flat. A friend of mine bought it for me. They bought a bunch of them for the group. It's
Yeah.
let me see. I actually don't even remember where I put it now. It's been a while.
Michael, I also have a dice tray too that I really like mine. It doesn't fold up like that. It's not a travel one. So that's the downside, but I'm gonna link it to you because I really, really like it.
Well, that's good. I have a plastic Cthulhu dice tower, but it's one of those ones that you assemble. So if you jostle it too hard, it'll fall apart like a Jenga tower.
Sounds very sort of dramatic.
Nice. On Etsy. Ooh. Ooh. That is nice.
Customizable. I had them make it just like I can put this in chat too. I'm on Twitch, but like I had them make it for me just like the first picture.
I like to think that this is the conversation that Gradal and Dagmar are having right before they go to bed anyway.
Okay, so everybody goes to sleep except for a theory. A theory, you're up first. You're the first one at watch, so it's like 10, 11 o'clock. It's pretty late. Yeah, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Stars are out. Everyone else has fallen asleep. What do you do during your watch? Do you actually watch like very closely, or do you do anything else?
Yeah, I just kind of sit there. I pull my hood over my head, and I'm looking at the people that are sleeping, and I'm also looking in the sky. Just kind of looking around. But I'm not keeping an eye on the folks sleeping.
So, for the most part, the mysterious group here, this other group here, don't really do anything. They just sort of normal, like sleeping, normal things you expect for a person to sleep. Pabu is a snore.
Do I see anything in the cave moving?
You don't see anything in the cave. You don't see any lights. You don't hear anything from the cave. You do hear maybe a whoo whoo from owls out.
I knew there were owls on the Mesa.
There are burrowing owls. There are burrowing owls. We already discussed this.
Desert owls, yes.
But otherwise, it passes fairly go ahead and roll perception if you. Yeah, go ahead and roll perception since you're the person on the watch right now. Yeah. Okay. So that's about it. That's about all you get for your description. Your watch. It comes to the end of your watch theory. You can wait. The next person to wake up is Dagmar. So go
That's
ahead.
always fun. Fun waking up Dagmar. Okay, so I kind of crawl over to her bedroll and I gently touch her shoulder and shake her and whisper, Dagmar, Dagmar, it's your watch.
And my arm flips over and like grabs the axe like she knew exactly where it was.
And I jump back. I don't jump. Like it's me.
Grumbling.
It's me.
God. Could have taken your head out.
It's your watch. Maybe you'll get lucky and find something to kill. All I heard were some owls.
Dagmar kind of glances at Fred.
No, not Fred. We need the eggs. We need the chicken's eggs. All right, I'm going to sleep. Bye. And then I crawl to my bedroll, pull my head up, and I'm out.
We're still glancing at Fred, kind of groggy.
I'm surprised that none of you have like put someone's hand in like warm water while they were sleeping or something like that.
This is mean.
Yeah.
We're all too polite with each other. So what in this moment is the ferret doing? Aren't those somewhat night creatures? I'm unfamiliar with ferrets. If anyone can't already tell that or deduce that.
I am not looking this up on Google right now. That is not a lie. Okay.
What do the ferrets do?
I am not looking on Google. That is not a lie. I am looking it up on Bing.
Oh God.
Okay. I mean, it's not really doing anything. It doesn't seem like it'd be doing anything. So,
Is it awake?
no.
Oh. Is it sleeping really close to Tic Tac?
Yes, it is. It's basically sleeping inside his like coat.
Okay. All right. And I can't like see into its dreams or anything.
That's a weird like psychic thing. You are not psychic.
But now I wonder what you ferrets dream about.
Or like if it's doing like little ferret mumbles and I can interpret what those mumbles mean. If it's revealing the truth in mumble form.
Well, you actually hear mumbles from Fred.
Yeah, but the ferret though.
No, nothing from the ferret. Just from Fred.
Okay, what is Fred saying?
He seems to be sort of disturbed in his sleep. Like, you can see kind of like expressions of fear. Like on his face, you know, sort of his brows wrinkling, and you could see him sort of tossing and turning slightly.
Okay. Is he making a lot of noise as he's doing so?
He's kind of whimpering.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my pillow and then I'm gonna throw it at Fred and then I'm gonna go back to watching the other group. I don't even know what happened after that. Dagmar's not paying attention to Fred anymore. So if that woke him up, Dagmar does not care.
So Fred wakes up with a bit of a start, like, oh, just a dream. Only a dream. I thought, again. He like feels or like looks around and notices the pillow, and then he grabs the pillow you threw at him and begins to sort of hug it, kind of like in a fetal position, like it were a teddy bear, a teddy owl bear, as it were.
I mean, he's got one of those too. Like, how much does he need anyway? So I don't need to really do a perception check or anything because like they're all asleep. There's nothing really to notice or see right now. Is there any like strange noises coming out of the cave, for instance? Though?
You don't hear anything coming out of the cave, but you do hear kind of you do hear kind of an odd it's a very distant sound. And it's kind of odd. Because of the distance is a little bit, it's really hard to tell what it is. But there's an odd sound off in the distance.
Has Dagmar heard anything like that before? Can I roll like insight or something?
You can roll a nature check.
Okay. I don't know what nature is. All right.
Yeah, it's probably the wind sort of blowing through the ravines and canyons of the Mesa. There's nothing to worry about. You can go to sleep. Probably don't even have to wake up Gradall. You can just go to sleep. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm gonna wake up Gradall. And then I'm gonna ask him what nature is, and then I'm gonna go back to bed. So Gradall, wake up!
Sorry, what?
It's your turn to watch. It's windy out here.
Holy lilacs. Okay.
Holy lilacs.
Yeah. Happy to take the watch.
All right, keep an eye
Good
on
idea,
Fred
Nick.
too. I don't trust him.
I look over to Fred. What is he doing?
I don't know. He's just sleeping.
No, I'm asking the DM. Is like, I'm gonna look over at Fred. What is he doing? Is he? Did he go back to sleep,
Yeah,
or is
he's
he?
gone back to sleep, but he's just sort of like he's lying there, sort of really sort of clutching the pillow. Um, he's not really tossing in his sleep.
All right, I'll keep an eye on Fred. I promise, and these other new
Thanks.
jokers too. Get some sleep, okay?
Will do.
Uh,
Okay. And then I kind of cradle my axe as I sleep.
Okay, so you can describe what you do during your watch, and if you'd like, you can roll perception check to see if you actually notice anything.
I'll go with the perception check to start. So I got 20 in perception.
Uh, so sending you something on Discord. For the most part, you hear some of the night sounds of the wind whistling through the rocks and trees.
Hey, here's something off in the distance. Do I know what it sounds like? Like an animal growling, or sorry, like a. Can I do a nature check or something to see if
Yeah.
I recognize the sound?
Yes, you may. You're not quite sure.
Fair
Um,
enough.
it's not a wolf. You can tell it's not a wolf. It's not a bear. It's not like that. I don't know. Maybe a bird? Not sure.
Hmm. Now, as another question,
Yeah.
were I to cast a spell now, would that be considered part of the previous day, or would I have wasted a spell at the start of the new day?
Okay, so my instinct would be that this is a new day for you because you've already been sleeping for at least 2 watches. So well, we can cut it. I can let you decide. If you're using a pool from the previous day, then that means you have not recharged any of your spell slots at this moment. Um, so that's how you're gonna have to sort of cut it. Like
Right.
if you
Well,
don't
like,
if you don't recharge until after everyone has finished, then that means in the middle of the night you will have no spell charges. Or if the day before you use them all up.
no, I only used one second level spell up, so.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was pretty much, I was just considering casting Pass Without a Trace on myself, so I could sneak over to the other camp and put a flower next to each of the people as they slept.
Okay. So let's decide on
Because
this.
of course, what Gretel would do.
Yes. So let's we can make a rule right now, and so we'll just sort of agree on it because it doesn't really matter to me exactly, but it's going to be important for later, just so you don't like get a whole bunch of extra spell slots just how you want it.
Right.
So we can either there's 3 options that we can take. You recharge your spell slots after you get at least 2 watches worth of rest, and then that's when you reset. You as an individual. That's the first option. Second option, um, your spell slots reset at the end of everybody having taken a turn at watches. So once day breaks or whatever, then your spell slots recharge. Um, or we can just. I guess the third option would be just as soon as everybody falls asleep, then we will consider that your spell slots recharged. But they cannot. But then that means even though you continue to sleep afterwards, for the 8 hours or whatever it is, they don't come back because
Right.
you've already sort of redeemed them at the beginning of the sleep.
Gotcha. I just wanted to check because if there's an incident when I mean, let me put it this way. This is just basically a throwaway flavor thing that I was considering doing. But if there's a situation where we get attacked in the middle of the night, last time I think we treated it as if I hadn't recharged any spells, and I still had used up my slots from the previous day. I don't quite remember what happened with the battle with the ticks.
I think
'Cause
you
I think
had
that was in
recharged,
watch.
but the thing is that you were spent for the day. That's why you couldn't. That's why you couldn't heal yourself or something like that. You couldn't like.
That's right. That's why I couldn't cast lesser restoration and heal myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. So I'm good. I'm good. I'll just stay with the rest of the watch and listen and watch.
I mean, you can still try to sneak over there if you'd like.
Nah.
All right.
I'll wait in the morning and offer it to them.
Okay.
They're not Dagmar. I don't need to surreptitiously do it.
Okay. All right. There we go. Otherwise, it's a very cold, crisp night up here on the mesa. The stars twinkling above you, and your watch comes to an end, and the first rays, like the sky is just beginning to turn rosy. The rosy fingers of dawn begin to stretch out over the horizon. And it is now time for the last watch. Gradal, what do you do? Wake up
So
Janera,
Thierry's
or?
watch?
Yeah, it's Janera's watch.
Oh, it's Janera's watch. Okay, I'll go gently wake up Janera. By the way, while I was on watch, did I notice Fred tossing or turning or having a difficult sleep again?
At the end of your watch, you did notice it. So basically, Fred had to sort of dip into a deeper REM sleep, and then he started to sort of toss and turn and whimper.
Okay. When I wake up Janera, I'm gonna let her know about that and say, keep an eye on Fred. I think he's having bad dreams again. The last time he had bad dreams when he was when he was near those cursed objects. Was the last time he had a bad dream. So he might be kind of like our canary in a coal mine here.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. I'm gonna get my last little bit of sleep.
All right.
Good
Sleep
All right.
well, friend.
night.
All right, Janera, it's your watch. What do you do?
I guess I will roll perception. Oof. Okay.
Let me roll something. Okay. So you begin your watch. It's actually sort of the early morning hours, just before people begin to wake up. Um, the sun has begun, like very sort of tips of the sunlight are beginning to peek through over the horizon, and you smell something. You smell something like really rank, almost like a skunk. And you hear a little bit of shuffling in the cave.
Huh.
An appropriate reaction.
Wow. Well, okay. I think that I am going to sneak my way over here, and I'm gonna take a peek in the cave.
Okay, I want you to roll a stealth, because you're sneaking.
Where are you, stealth?
Okay. You see a dark figure, very large, and actually, oh shoot. Irony of ironies. I think your character was asleep at this time. The last time, and now you're awake this time. So we're just gonna assume.
Okay.
You see a dark, large figure, very familiar, hairy. Um, it's bipedal, and you see it bend down, pick up the object, and put something down on the ground, um, in place of the object. Then a large orange light appears. The figure steps into the light, and then the light boop, blinks out.
Ah.
Squatch. We seen a squatch.
Oh, no. Oh,
Can I see what it is that it left behind?
So it's technically it's a dim light and you have dark vision, so this we consider bright light. So you see something on the ground. It's like small, metallic. It's about the size of a key. And it looks like a key.
Oh.
Trying to find a good place for this. Okay, there it is.
That is so pretty. Oh my god.
I'll zoom in for everybody.
So ornate. Wait a second. Is the top supposed to look like tentacles?
You don't, Dagmar. You don't know this yet. You're asleep, Dagmar. Don't break.
What?
Okay, so all right, Janera. What are you gonna do now, Janera?
Okay. I'm gonna head back to the group. And
Take the key.
I thought about it, but
What?
I think it's best if I don't. So as I come back,
We would have handled that so differently.
I know. Okay, so I come back, and as I come back, somebody's moving. Somebody's moving. Okay.
It's Cassandra. So she wakes up before everybody else does. She doesn't really look at you. She sort of goes straight into the cave. You see her go into the cave, and kind of looks like she picks it up, and then she comes back out.
Okay.
I'm not awake yet, but just.
So when I come back, I clearly watched her do this, and so I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on her and that group, but also I want to see how Fred is doing right now too.
Well, from the look on Fred's face, he doesn't look well rested. His face looks kind of pale. But he's asleep. Kind of whimpering a little bit. The chicken seems fine though.
Thank God the chicken is okay. Okay. Well, since gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wake up a theory. And since she was first watch, so she's had the most sleep at this point. And I'm gonna kind of let her know what happened. So, hey, a theory. Wake up.
Hey, what? What's going on?
Something really freaking weird just happened.
You serious? Weirder than all the other things that have happened?
I mean, maybe not, but
No.
so the thing they did last night and the weird dance and all that stuff, and then they left an offering in the cave. Well, during my watch, I smelt something really, really bad.
Ooh.
I heard noises, so I went to the cave to check it out, and this big, hairy creature came and took the bundle that they left in the cave, and then left a key behind. And then it just disappeared into a bright orange light and was gone. And I didn't want to go and touch it. I didn't want to go in the cave. But I observed the human, Cassandra, after I came back to our camp. She, casually walked over into the cave, and I believe she took the key.
Wait. Wait, step back a second. Big hairy creature?
Yeah.
Was it squat?
Be the emphasis.
I mean,
Excuse me.
I remember
Yeah.
you guys saying something about, but I was I was sleeping, so I don't know what it is. I could just guess. It was big and hairy, and it smelled really bad.
It wasn't Dagmar. Wow.
I'm sleeping, but you can see me frowning.
You were that. Oops, sorry. Wow, Cassandra's got a key. Should I go steal it from her, or
Well, I
no?
think
She'll know something.
yeah. Well, the reason why I didn't take it is because I don't want these people to think that we have ill intent either. We don't know what the situation is yet, and maybe they have a better understanding of what's happening here.
Yeah, so we need to find out what it is she's going to unlock with that key.
Yeah. And, Gretel, I think, will probably maybe have some interesting insight into this, but since he was just up not that long ago, I didn't want to wake him.
Oh yeah, we need him. We need him at all his spells back. Full power. Good idea.
And I know Dagmar would just be like, "What?" I'll just rage over there. So.
She will rage over there. And is Cassandra back sleeping now?
No, at this point, Cassandra never went back to sleep. See, she sort of she's gone back to her bedroll. She's sort of cleaning up a little bit. And you can see that she's sort of. You know what? No. She's sort of cleaned up a little bit, but now she's doing her morning yoga. Okay, she's doing her greeting the sun or whatever. Moo is also waking up, or Moo is now up, and Moo is sort of going over to the other goblins, and trying to get them to wake up.
Okay, are we waking up right about this time, or do we have to be woken up, or?
You can assume that you're waking up. I mean, it is now morning. It is now like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. You probably will. I mean, I think all of us have gone camping before. It's hard to stay asleep past 6 or 7 when the sun is like shining right down in your face.
Yeah.
The other goblins have kind of a hard time, sort of like trying to shake Pabu awake. He's really kind of like not having it. So they have to sort of rock him back and forth a couple times for him to get up.
How did the watches go?
My watch was interesting.
Why? What happened?
Yeah, tell her.
Yeah. So let me make sure Dagmar's awake too.
Don't tell. Oh, it's you.
Okay, we got some stuff to talk about.
What kind of stuff?
Okay, so I mean, since I've already explained it, I just kind of recap everything that I already said, and so
Yeah.
so now I'm just gonna be like, so like, what do you guys think? Like,
Well, we encountered this before. Weren't these Sasquatches or Yetis or whatever? Weren't they the ones that killed the Eleanor the cow and they were teleporting around back at the bee farm? Sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee yet.
it's okay. Hang on, let me wake up Fred. Fred.
What?
Fred, it's okay. You're safe. It's okay.
What?
And
Where's Gail? Where's Gail? Oh, thank you.
She's
Oh, there's Gail.
She's right there. She's right there. I just kind of pat him on the head. I'm like, you had a rough night, buddy, huh?
I had a dream again. It's been a few days since I had one of those.
Was it the same as before?
Yeah. Real similar. I was being chased by a monster. And then
What
I
did
was
that
back at
monster
school,
look like?
but I wasn't wearing any clothes. It was a weird dream.
What
Fred.
kind of monster was it?
It's hard to remember. And that bully, Tricky.
Fred!
I
I feel like Wilma Flintstone right now.
It was that weird thing. Its face kind of looked like that skull that the professor had. But it had like a lot of eyes. So many eyes. And it was chasing me through like tunnels. Oh, golly. He shudders.
So then we shouldn't go into the cave because that means it's littered with ticks, and therefore we crawl down the mesa and pretend like none of this happened.
Yeah, except that we still don't know what these jokers are up to, and I point over to the other camp. And not to mention what that key opens, if anything. What'd the key look like, by the way, Janera?
So I kind of described that it kind of looked like it was carved from bone, maybe, and then like the top design had like tentacles
Okay.
on it.
The design looked like bone. Like the motifs of it were bone. But
Well, it looked like the bottom of it, like the actual key part that fit in. It looked like
I thought that
it was
too.
made out of bone.
It looked almost like a jawbone, almost.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I want to say is it did look metallic. It didn't look like it was made from bone. It did look metallic.
Oh, okay.
But it was the
Metallic
design
bone.
was.
The
But the
design
design
looked,
was.
the design looked like
Modeled
know,
after, yeah.
like bone.
Oh. And tentacles.
And tentacles.
Not a good combination.
No. And then it had like some other weird kind of designs on it. Didn't really look like a language per se, but it was kind of like symbols a little bit.
None that you could recognize.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it looked artificial. It looked like culture, not natural, but you couldn't recognize it.
Okay. So Fred, now that you're okay and you're awake and you're not, no monster's gonna get you. How about some breakfast?
Oh, okay. He like looks over at Gale and like checks the cage really quick and like, oh, thank you, Gale, and pulls out an egg.
I feed the chickens some of my flowers.
Ooh, oh, is that gonna make the eggs taste kind of like flowers?
No, no. Chickens normally eat like flowers and grass and whatnot. Actually, famously, chickens can also eat chili peppers because they don't have the same things in their tongues that humans have. They're not spicy chickens.
So Gale's sort of running around. Buck, 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 buck. Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Oh, you're a rooster
she-
now,
oh,
Gale?
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm
If
kidding.
Gale's cock-a-doodle-dooting, then she's not a Gale. She's not a her.
And she shouldn't be laying eggs. What is happening?
Hey, she can be whatever he wants to be.
Okay, got a point there.
Happy Pride Month, Gail.
Yay!
If you peek over at the other group, they are preparing things like hardtack with lard.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of a really like stereotypical pioneer breakfast. Yeah,
I'm a
basically
fan.
flour and grease. It does not look delicious.
Well, we want to endear ourselves to these people. How about Fred and I go over and cook them a nice breakfast then?
What are you planning with Fred?
I don't know. Let me see. I'll tell you what. We'll cook our own breakfast and offer to share.
Alrighty then. So go ahead and roll a Go ahead and roll a survival check and do so at advantage because Fred is going to help you.
Okay.
Alright, you successfully
17.
make breakfast. It is a delicious breakfast. Please describe it for us, Gradal.
I made an asparagus frittata with the eggs from Gale.
Amazing. Chef's kiss.
And I'll call over to the other camp and ask them if they want to share any of the frittata.
So basically everybody here is really sort of not interested in their breakfast, but they are very interested in your breakfast. I mean, you only have maybe 1 or 2 eggs. I don't know if you really have enough for all of it, for everybody here.
Let me see. Do I have a spell that would help out with this? Give me a second here. Checking what I got. Because I thought I had a create food or drink thing, although I think that's a higher. No, it's create or destroy water. I have a purify food or drink.
You can use it on their hardtack and lard.
I could, but it only purifies it, like removes poison and disease. It doesn't make it taste better. So, Dagmar, do you think maybe you could talk to Gail, see if she can
Oh,
cook up another egg for us?
oh boy. Mm-hmm. Hey, Gail. Can you hear me? Can you understand?
Yes.
Oh. You got another egg in you?
All right. Well, I guess Gale sort of bears down and's like, "I'll. I have many eggs in me, but usually only 1 or 2 per day."
Do you think you could?
Bearing down.
I'm just imagining Gail keeps straining and straining and straining, and all of a sudden there's this huge popping sound and a bunch of feathers goes everywhere. You hear this pained cry from Fred.
Oh no.
Gail did poorly.
I mean, I okay, I'm gonna move on because I have a reference, but it's really gross, so we're gonna move on. Okay.
Our second egg was obtained, I would like to think.
Unfortunately, no. Gale sort of like hangs her head in shame, shrugs her shoulders, and sorry,
No.
not no more.
You're a failure of a chicken.
Do you actually say that to her?
Yeah.
There's a slight tear, in her eye.
Oh, don't listen to her, Gail, and I feed Gail a few more flowers.
Gale, remember, Gale doesn't understand you, but she appreciates the flowers.
Oh my god. Can I go up to the ferret? Can I talk to the ferret?
Yes, you may talk to the ferret.
Okay. Can I do so without Tic Tac noticing?
No, because the ferret's like sitting on Tic Tac's shoulder.
Dang it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just completely ignore that Tic Tac exists because Dagmar is a blinders on, not noticing anything around her, one track mind kind of girl. So she's gonna go right up to Fufu and say, hey buddy, can you hear? Can you understand me?
Good morning to you, child.
Oh god.
Oh God, no.
Um. Oh, I didn't expect that.
Yes, I can hear you.
Recalibrating.
Is the ferret Paula Dean? Oh God.
Maybe I should change the lard to butter. Everything is butter.
Oh God, we have a racist ferret.
Oh god,
Jeez.
a racist butter crazed ferret.
Oh my god.
Hi.
Only in D&D would those words ever be combined with one another.
Hi. My name is Dagmar. What is your name?
Nice to meet you. I'm Fufu.
Uh-huh. Your party here. What do you think of these folks around you?
Fufu sort of, turns their head back and forth, and like, kind of, does the equivalent of a ferret shrug, like,
Okay, that's helpful. So,
mercy me, what is that smell that you're cooking?
uh-huh. Anyway, what are you guys doing here?
Starving to death. What are you eating?
Right, but the cave, are you excited to go into the cave?
Not particularly. I am excited about breakfast.
I'm
Did
done
you
with
cook
you.
it with some butter?
I'm done. And then I just go back to the group.
Oh my god.
It's like throw my hands up and I walk away. Tic Tac just probably like, what the fuck was that? That was my attempt, everyone. I did my best.
Well, so the other goblins are not very or rather shameless. They were like, "Hey, what are you cooking? It smells really good."
Oh, eggplant frittata. You can have mine if you want.
Ooh, Ethel, the blue one. Yeah, it's like, oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So, so your boss Moo's kind of a cagey one, huh?
Kinda, I guess. I mean, she's brought us all the way up here. Uh, it but she's helped us out a lot. She's protecting us.
Fair enough. But Why'd you come up? Why not stay in Clark where it's safe?
Um,
It's nice in Clark. They get the stuff they have at the Grain Grinders Guild. Have you tried the donuts? My God, they're good.
they are, they are good. That's why we brought some.
Oh.
But we gave it away already.
Oh.
Well, what'd you give it away? Who'd you give it away to?
Yeah, we gave it away because Cassandra then punches them in the shoulder. Or no, actually not Cassandra. That's gonna be Pabu. Pabu's the one that punches them in the shoulder.
Oh. Oh.
Well, Pablo, that wasn't very nice. I think you should apologize to Ethel right now, young man.
Like, Pabu kind of gives you a blank look, and it's just, I'm middle-aged already.
You just don't want us to get along with this group, huh?
The goblins are fully willing to get along with you. Pabu is a jerk.
So, I'm so sorry that he did that, Ethel. But by all means, continue.
Ethel kind of like looks up at him and looks up at you, or looks at Gradol, looks up at Pabu, and then sort of like just kind of keeps munching on the frittata. I mean the whatever food you offer them, the three goblins will gobble it all down. You know, the goblins are gobbling it down. um, and they thank you for the food. And once they thank you for the food, they go back. Um, Cassandra asks them, and they share it with Cassandra, but Pabu doesn't really get anything. And Moo continues to munch on something here. Something that she cooked by herself. Fred actually kind of like sniffs his nose a little bit, and like that's a familiar. And it's like and it's kind of curious, and actually goes over there, and actually sort of like looks at what Moo's cooking and eating. There's a bit of a look of surprise on Fred's face, and then turns around and keeps coming, and then just comes back.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So Fred actually goes to investigate what Moo is eating.
Fred is doing things.
Fred like looks at the food, looks a little bit surprised, and actually the two of them sort of exchange looks. They there's a sort of knowing nod between the two of them, and then Fred comes back.
Hmm.
Fred.
Fred, what was that all? What was that all about, Fred?
Oh, it's breakfast. I just wanted to see what she
Yet,
was making, or what? Yeah.
what was she eating?
Uh, it looked like flour and butter.
Just raw flour and raw butter.
Well, I mean, she cooked it. It kind of reminded me of something that I used to eat. A kind of breakfast called pock beet.
Pockbee?
Pock beet. Okay, you're gonna spell this. Okay, some people are gonna. I'm gonna spell this in the Twitch thing because otherwise people are gonna get mad at me later.
Pockbeet.
So once they sort of finish up their breakfast and get they comb their hair, whatever. It's like, okay, we're ready to explore the cave.
Well, would you
Well,
mind?
so are we.
Moving in formation.
Well, come on, guys. Let's go as well. Oh my god, the way they're moving on the map is
That's
so
creepy. That is so creepy.
Yeah.
cute. Creepy and cute. It's everything. It's everything.
They're just going to morph together to form one giant goblin
Oh
at the
my
end as a
god.
boss fight.
Oh my god.
Phalanx.
I mean, come on, guys. We gotta formate like they're formationing.
So Cassandra actually is the one that ends up taking the lead. So
Okay.
I'm gonna scroll down on the stream a little bit just so you. So if you look on the picture here, zoom in a little bit. So she carries a staff with her. She actually takes the lead a little bit, and she begins to sort of clap and stomp her feet a little bit, and kind of there's a little bit of a jingle. So she has some sort of bells or metallic thing in her clothing or something like that. She starts shaking about, and then she taps the staff like twice on the ground hard, and then the staff lights up. So the whole staff begins to glow in a bright light.
That's really cool.
As I near the cave, I'm gonna do a produce flame in my hand so we can see. And then
All
I'm
of you
wondering,
have a night. All of you have dark vision, actually.
all of us have dark vision.
Cassandra,
Well,
if you think about it, Cassandra's the only one without dark vision. She's the
Oh,
only
she's
human.
doing that for
Oh, okay.
herself. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I'm just jealous. I'm just jealous of her fancy staff, and I sort of look at mine and like, that makes flowers. I'm cool.
Well, like, we can all see in the dark, but what about the chicken? We've got a party member that can't see in the dark, right?
She's in a cage.
If we get in a battle and we have to roll initiative for Gale, that's going to be an interesting battle when it comes to her turn.
I don't think there are stats for chickens inside the player's handbook or the monster manual. I'm gonna look that up. I forgot to look that up.
Oh my god.
But I already have an idea of what I want for a chicken stats to be. And it'll be fine. It's fine. Gale will be fine. Probably.
No, I found it on the D&D wiki. We have it, including armor class, fly speed, the whole thing.
It has a fly speed? No, that's terrible.
It says no. It actually has a thing here. It has a feat. Clumsy flyer. A chicken cannot sustain flight for more than one turn.
Okay, wait. I'm looking this stuff up now.
Oh
So
god.
weaknesses. Under weaknesses, it says 7 herbs and spices.
No, that's a homebrew, but that's funny. Oh wait, is this it? It says 5e. Oh well, there you go. AC only 10. I'm kind of surprised. Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, I personally wanted chicken's AC to be higher, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh, you want that? You want a really funny one on the D&D wiki? They have a dire chicken.
Oh, good golly, what could that
Oh my
be?
god. Oh my god, no.
Okay, so this is our tangent for tonight. Dire chicken. Oh, good golly, what could? I like the picture. The picture is hilarious. Oh, good golly. That's funny. Oh, good golly. All right, all right, all right, all right. We're gonna. I mean, why not? We have Sasquatches in here. We're gonna. Why not have dire chickens? Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna enter into the cave. Unless you're gonna do anything specific, are you? Or
No, I think we'll just keep an eye out as we enter the cave. Do we
okay.
have a particular marching order? Is it only
Well,
like
I'm gonna change the
can we
map
only go
right
single
now.
file?
I'm gonna change the map
Okay.
right now. So we're gonna. So you. Hopefully I did it right. Hopefully the fog of war works. Okay. I'm gonna have to adjust it. So there should be a lot of darkness. You're gonna have to go all the way down to the bottom.
Oh.
Oh, there we go.
There you have
Oh,
it.
wow.
Oops, that was the wrong one. Wrong window. Okay, so I forgot to put everybody in here. So we're gonna go ahead and put your
Yeah.
tokens on the thing. You're gonna see a lot of lines because I actually did this on graph paper, but I had a little bit of trouble like aligning it, so I just said forget it. So
I gotta zoom in so I can see myself.
let's see,
So
zoom.
everything in black is part of the dungeon that will slowly reveal itself in time, or
Exactly. It's a kind of fog of war. So for right now, the black part for you just looks like stone wall. It's just a cliff face or canyon face.
that is so cool.
Okay, and then I need to actually color them. So let me color them. So that one's Moo. This one's gonna be Tic Tac is green. The orange one is and blue is Ethel. Ethel's sort of in the middle and back. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually measure a little bit of distance here. Um, so you can actually see a little bit into the see a little bit into it.
And has Fred died? Is he
Oh
staying
yeah, yeah.
outside?
Thank you. I forgot to bring in Fred.
Oh.
Why are you always so disappointed that Fred?
Um, he has yet to be useful. Someday, if he proves his worth.
Irony of ironies. Watch him to like outpace your leveling or something like that later.
Oh God.
Okay. So as you step into the room, it's clear that this is not a cave. The walls are there's stairs. Like in front of you, there are stairs. Um, the walls are smooth and straight and sort of perpendicular to the ground. This is quite clearly artificial, um, in nature. And you can see a little bit sort of this area sort of goes through a little bit of a doorway and into another room. And Moo takes out her crossbow, or rather, like pulls it off her hip and gets it ready, not pointing it at anything. You can see that everybody's sort of tensing up. Pabu has his hand on his sword, and the three goblins behind them sort of look very worriedly, and they're like looking around a lot.
Watching their caution, I'm going to cast Bark Skin on myself.
Right.
I think I'm gonna pull my crossbow too, seeing Moo do that.
I'm gonna say that Dagmar already had her axe out, but
Yeah.
she's like gripping it with both of her hands tightly.
So Cassandra sort of begins to assign to the rest of their group. They all nod. Moo nods and it's like, and then speaks to you. It's like, okay, we are going to explore this cave. It's a little bit different than what I expected, or what you were expecting out of a cave. But this might be a good opportunity for us to fully explore it. Um. So let's go in. I don't think we'll find much of anything anyway, so don't be too scared. But just keep an eye out for stuff. You don't know, maybe there might be like a cave bear in here or something. So Moo steps forward. They change their position slightly. They need to get to the entrance. Fred's actually sort of following along behind them now.
Damn it, Fred.
Okay, I'm gonna do from Genera. Yeah, okay, so at that point Genera can actually start to see all the way down, all the way back. I do like that you are the adventurers who are supposed to have all these levels in adventuring, and like you are heroes, and you're the ones that are sort of falling behind them.
They can find the traps first.
Yeah.
They can find the traps first. They can fight the monsters first. And if they're ahead of us, then, and especially if they're all in a cluster, then that's
And the
something
first
that you can
wave.
target later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing is, okay, so you could I'm gonna this is gonna go this is gonna be a dungeon crawl, like very literally in the sense, because so for Dagmar, right, Dagmar can see out like that, so you can see sort of that.
Hmm.
That's sort of your vision. So I'm gonna start to reveal things according to your vision.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, and then so I can see that the Gradal's on the other side. He's also sort of seeing things, so you can start to see things down through. And they sort of cautiously move inside.
Noticing that Fred's sort of traveling along with them.
Yeah. Fred actually kind of, interestingly enough, like falls into formation fairly quickly. Um, without even
Good
speaking.
shovel
So
hob.
yeah,
Very good shovel hob.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to like reveal a little bit more than I'm trying to like not reveal too much.
Now, is this a cave floor? Is this just a cave, or are we seeing, because these are fairly straight walls, are we seeing masonry? Are these ruins?
So this is this does not look like a cave. Well, okay. yeah, it doesn't look like a cave in the sense that it's natural. Like a cave is formed through erosion. This is not erosion. It is quite clear that someone has come into this and carved out this rectangular room. The walls are straight. The floor is mostly smooth. Um, but you can tell that it's been here for a while. There has been some level of erosion on the walls, and you can see kind of scratches on the walls, like people have been here before. Um, and there are little, yeah, like it's kind of like there's graffiti on the walls. And if you're sort of peeking in here, you do notice that there's something in here in the back room here.
What's this something that we see?
It's a little bit hard to tell. You're gonna have to get close enough. You're gonna have to get a little bit closer, Grado, because you're kind of far from it. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Because I mean, like, this is an object that's 30 feet away from you. Right. So I don't know how good you're even just in broad daylight. What 30 feet is like. It's just this really messy pile of something, but you can't quite tell what it is. Um, in the light. Let me see. Actually, a torch. I can't. I'm gonna look up. I think light actually gives you the light spell. Actually, the light cantrip actually gives you quite a bit of light. Light, bright light in 20-foot radius and another 20 feet for dim. So that's quite a bit. So at this point, it's very bright. Like if you look all the way around, the whole room is brightly lit, and she actually her light spell from her staff illuminates back here, and it counts as bright light. So you can tell in the back there seems to be some sort of white object. It's about the size. It's like the size of a basketball. It's a white object, but it's very lumpy in shape, and it's covered in something. It's got like sticks or fabric or something on it. But that's all you can tell from this distance, because you can see right here there are some more. If you see right there, that there is this. That's also these are also stairs right here. These are stairs right here.
Down or up?
Up. It's kind of like going up to a platform.
What is that to the right of Dagmar?
So, what you notice in this room also is this seems to be a doorway, and this seems to be a doorway.
Okay.
They are stone doorways. You can tell they're doors, but you don't see any sort of handle. There's no doorknob. There's no nothing. It's just looks like a door. It looks like it would function like a door, but there's no way for you to sort of tell how to open it. At least from any obvious peripheral look at it.
Could I have Dagmar like while everyone is slowly, going through, could I have Dagmar step to the side and try to push the stone door in?
Go ahead, roll an athletics check.
Okay. I did it.
Ooh.
I push hard.
Okay? You push with the might that only you, Dagmar of the Northern Territories, your strength and might flow through you, and you push, and there's a crunch and scraping as the stone door begins to budge ever so slightly. So you get the door to crack open a little, and so you can kind of see inside a little.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have her peek. I'm gonna put her head kind of through the crack, and kind of peek in there.
So you can you see, okay. You look into it, and dimly through the light, you can see that there is a. Let me see. It's okay. Through the crack, you can see sort of dim in the dim light because it's very dark for you. There's a bit of a hallway and then some stairs, but the stairs curve a bit, so it's hard for you to tell. They do go upward though.
Huh. Okay. And was when I was pushing that door open, was it loud enough that it attracted the attention of the other group or not?
They do look at you. They do look at you. Moo does look at you. They all look at you, but they're sort of okay, whatever.
Okay, so they know. Okay, so from that I can kind of like ascertain that like they know what they're doing. They know where they're going. They don't care about these side paths.
I mean, from as far as you can tell, they're sort of running their fingers up and down the walls. They really are trying to explore every bit about the area.
Okay.
They don't seem exactly what they're being just as cautious as you are. Um,
Okay. Huh.
I'm gonna go over and see if I can help Dagmar push that door open a little further.
okay. So
You. Thank you.
yeah, so this goblin right here, the goes in and helps you, and you're able to open the door further. I don't know how much Gradle is actually helping you. I mean, he might just be positioning himself. Oh, good golly. Okay, so Dagmar, are you pushing or pulling?
I'm pushing.
Dagmar or Gradle is pulling.
Oh. Perfect.
But does help you. Let's see how much is able to help you. A little bit. But eventually you're sort of all leaning together. You are able to kind of open up the. No, I'm sorry. I'm grabbing the wrong person here. Trying to grab. Oh, there we go. That's the right tool. Okay, and you're able to reveal a pathway down. Okay. Calls after you, Dagmar. It's like, wait, we need to wait for other people.
Who's calling out?
Is calling out. The orange one. It's the one with the bunny ears, if you remember.
Oh, I thought Whistle couldn't talk. Oh, I guess. Oh,
No, that's just her name.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Why do I gotta wait? I'm already in here.
Okay.
I call back.
Well, like, wait, no, we don't want to split up the party. That's dangerous. Moo turns her head and like looks back and like, okay, just wait up. Don't worry, I think we have something here. And so, so they actually, okay, for you, Genera, since you're up there, I'm gonna assume that you can see all the way into it. Okay. Since Genera is the only one brave enough to actually like go up there and look, I'm gonna send just to Genera.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh. Well, okay then.
So they sort of look. You can see them sort of looking it over, investigating it.
What do you see, Genera?
So it is a protocerus
Oh my god.
skull, and it has been decorated with like fabrics and sticks. And then I don't know, Daryl, are the eyes really the eyeballs, or are those decorations that?
No, those are artificial. They are decorations. So
Okay.
So a theory, Grandar, are you? I don't know if I've spooked you all too much or whatever, but none of you seem to really want to go up to things. Okay. I'll put the thing on the I'll put it up here. I'll show you. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to. All right.
Oh, cute,
God.
cute. Oh my god, I want one. That's so cute. Welcome to Paleo Gaming Con, everyone.
Oh my goodness, Dagmar! It is clearly had the. It is clearly part of culture. Some intelligent beings have decorated it and messed with it.
This is true. This is true. You're more of an archaeologist than I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna describe it. It is a Protoceratops skull.
Wait, hold on a second. Those are eyes. Those are eyeballs in the skull.
Okay, so let me finish describing this. So there are sticks that are sort of tied together in like a tripod fashion and hold up the skull. So they're attached to it, and basically to get it to sit up and look straight down the platform, straight outward. So it's like sort of looking straight down out the entrance. It has a lot of fabric sort of tied around it. Just sort of wrapped and tied in a simple knot, and a lot of them look very old and sort of worm-eaten and tattered. Its eyes are not real eyes. Someone has put clay over the eye sockets and formed round parts to it to form sort of the eyeball. They've painted the outside sort of around the rim of their eye of the orbital socket. It's just mud. You can tell it's just or clay rather. The part that's actually supposed to look like the eyes is painted white, and then the dark part is a bit of glass sort of shoved into the clay so that it looks like an eyeball, but it's not an actual eyeball.
Okay.
So I'm going to post this actually in the Discord chat then, so that you guys can look at it, because I'm going to delete it off the, I'm going to delete this off the map.
So, oh my god, it's so cute. So I assume it's in a room, kind of, there's no doors off of this or anything.
In the hallway that you're standing, or the room that the object
is in.
You can investigate. As far as you know, you can tell. I mean, the walls look smooth. Man, I should have set off those traps already, since you have not been investigating. No 10-foot poles.
I'll do an since most people seem to have ignored that wall. I'll go over and investigate the west wall a little bit. Just move down the west wall and sort of scan and pay close attention to the door. Can I guide myself?
Yeah, go ahead. Guidance, investigate. Go ahead.
Not sure guidance would help on that. Hey, a 4.
The door looks to be very similar to the other door that you opened. And just like how you opened up the other door, it looks like you should pull on it. That's a joke because Dagmar pushed on it, and so...
I'll try opening it, but again, this time I'm going to try pushing, and I'm going to try to guide myself because my athletics sucks.
You're not... Okay, so... Moo's kind of like, okay, we can keep opening doors. Here. Moo looks over at Pabu. Pabu, go help Gradal. So go ahead, Gradal, with advantage and guidance.
Oh.
With advantage, I got an 11. I'm a 0 for athletics.
there's a lot of grunting and straining and just from Gradall, or however it is. I don't know what your straining voice is, Gradall. And the door does not budge.
Hmm. Uh,
Do you need assistance over there?
if you would be so kind, yes. And I'm just sort of sheepishly gonna hang my head and walk over here.
Yeah.
Dagmar just kind of like rolls up her sleeves and like looks at Aetheri and is just like, "Hey, hold my battle axe for a second.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer axe for a second, please. Thank you.
All right, I got it.
Perfect.
Okay. Pabu's going to continue to help you. He's like, okay. I wasn't trying. That was just a warm up. Don't worry, we've loosened it. Pabu sort of like cracks his shoulder. It's like, I'll help you. Okay,
Yeah.
you can roll with advantage, Dagmar.
Okay, sure. Didn't need your help, but sure, fine, all right.
Oh,
Damn.
God.
Nice.
That's how you do it, my friends.
Okay, you open it with ease. Please describe to us how you open it up with ease, Dagmar.
Maybe I one-hand it with my left hand because Dagmar is right-handed, and she kind of just like leans into it. She just kind of like faces Pabu, and then just kind of she's like fully facing Pabu, got the left hand on the door, and then doesn't like look like she's pushing, but just leans into the door and opens it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. An effortless push, and the door. There's a scraping sound, and the door swings wide open. And you can see down the hallway.
Then I'm gonna get out of the way.
Let me
Hand
see.
your axe back to you.
Thank you. That's how you do it.
In that door. That was impressive.
That was nothing.
And I just shake my head. I'm like, man, Dagmar.
Flex a little bit.
The goblins. So
Fist
the
bump.
other goblins are sort of like looking at you and like, wow, camp. Maybe they started a chant. Champ, champ, champ,
What?
champ,
Oh God!
champ.
Don't call me that. Oh man. All right. Well, is anyone gonna go down there? I'm not going first.
So Moog heads in there with oops, I'm moving a theory.
Sorry.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so
Yeah, I want to follow her. I don't want to be too far behind her.
okay, do you want to be in front of Pabu? You can be in front of Pabu.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Go move yourself in front of Pabu.
I'll sneak in behind Pabu.
Okay.
Sorry, was that Fred you were trying to get in there?
You can already sort of line up. I am gonna move. I do think I want Fred to be actually. I'm gonna put Fred right behind Pabu.
I'll go in last because that's what the barbarian does, right? That's how to be a tank, right? Go in last.
Okay. I uh, I do appreciate so much that you are all following like the map now. Like
Mhm.
okay.
I don't think I like being in a straight line though with everybody. Feels
Well, okay.
vulnerable.
So it is a narrow. Well, okay. So one of the things you have to the map and sort of the spacing you're going to have to sort of changing your mind a little bit. Remember that each square is 5 feet across, so it is wide enough. Technically, it's wide enough for people to go. If you actually squeeze shoulder to shoulder, 2 people can go down this hallway at a time. But generally, just for the map purposes, it's 1 person. So imagine a hallway where you stuck out your hands and your fingertips could touch the walls.
Yeah.
So you're fairly comfortably walking down, but it is somewhat claustrophobic. Sorry, I'm
Who
just.
am I
I'm trying to-
standing behind?
You are standing behind Tic Tac.
Hey, Ferret. Ferret, you there?
What?
Oh, where'd you go? Oh, you're over there now. You, what? How do you like the cave? This cave, this one.
Ooh, bless your heart, child. Is this your first time in the dark? Are you scared?
And I'm done. All right, going back up here.
Did you forget what it sounded like?
Oh my
Let me go over this way. There we go.
Okay. So there seems to be some sort of T junction here.
Can I do perception or something for the room that we're currently in?
Okay, so if you want, you can do an investigation. Everybody, if you'd like, you can do an investigation. I'm trying to.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me go back to normal. Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna write myself a note here. Oh, also one more thing. To make this sort of kind of fun.
Yep, 1 second.
Sort of fun.
Fun for me anyway. The fog of war is in effect. So that means that the lights go out behind you.
Oh.
Okay,
Whoa,
so.
Genera.
Oh, good golly. Gradoll, Theory, are you gonna investigate as well?
I think Gradall rolled.
Oh, okay. Oh. You see. Oh, okay. Sorry. So let me see. Oh, okay. Genera is always a smart one. You too, Dagmar.
Sometimes I am. Sometimes.
Okay, so let's send some messages. So Genera. Um. And for you, Dagmar.
Ba-bum. Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Um. Pabu at this point, Pabu like kind of elbows Moo a little bit, and it's like, I thought you said this was a treasury. Moo just kind of like shrugs and like looks at Cassandra. Cassandra gives Cassandra just keeps looking blank, and they continue to file forward. Okay, so you are now in the middle of a hallway. This hallway is kind of odd now. So for the most part, you see, yeah, okay. So for the most part, most of the architecture you've been looking at is fairly rectangular in design. But this one, now it's starting to get kind of wibbly wobbly. There's a kind of odd, like, yeah, there's a kind of an odd wibbly wobbliness now to the architecture. As you can see in sort of that the hallway's no longer straight, but it still seems very, very, very artificial.
Hmm.
I can see Dagmar's going down the hall. Dagmar's very brave. Right? Okay, so Gradal is being brave. Okay, now remember that the further you are from Cassandra, you do not have a light source. So right now at this point, it's actually it would actually be considered like complete darkness.
Well, now I can use my light cantrip, my produce flame cantrip,
Yeah.
which is the equivalent of a light spell.
So you can see in complete darkness, but you cannot see color. And your vision is hindered. So if there is something that requires you to see something, you will roll at disadvantage unless you have some sort of light source.
Right, but if I use the produce flame cantrip, I should be able to see.
Yes. As far as it gives you light.
Yeah. So what can I see as the room sort of begins to open up a little bit?
Okay, for you, Gradal. Probably going to take a little bit long, and I just want to describe things. So, what you notice, actually, Gradal, as you're going this way, this hallway opens up. It's not quite wide, as you can see. So let me scroll up a little bit on the roll 20. So as you look up, this big hallway actually starts to slope upward. It's taking a bit of a steep climb, but the floor is not smooth exactly, but it is artificially sort of it has been artificially I don't know, carved, or because it's not it's you can tell it's someone has done something to the rock. It is still rock, but now the floor of the rock has a kind of odd undulation to it and has like little knobs and pock marks in it. But it looks artificial, like someone has actually taken the time to carve out this odd texture into the floor.
If right next to me is Is that a theory right next to me?
Yes.
If a theory assists me with an investigation check, can I take a closer look at that floor? See if anything pops out at me, specifically for an open area like this. I'm concerned about like traps and whatnot.
Moo kind of snickers and is like, finally, you guys are getting brave enough to move ahead of us. So go ahead and roll your investigation.
Oh, would I be able to have a peek? I know I moved away, but I was kind of standing over in this area for a little bit. Could I have a little peek at the area I was before I rejoined the group?
Okay, sorry. Let me do that for you.
Yeah. Just to see here, because I'm curious. It's a corner location. What is that? What is that? Could I do a perception on that object on the bottom left corner before I rejoin the group?
Rubble. It's rock. It's sort of blocking the path. It's a little bit.
Okay.
It's large rocks, but it looks like you can move it.
Okay, I'll take note of that, and then I'll just rejoin the group.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. All right. So investigation, Gradal. This is a weird looking floor. It's super weird.
Totally weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. But as you sort of run your feet across it and you walk around across it, feels kind of fun. It's kind of fun to walk on.
Huh.
Well, now is the time that we send the first group in.
What does it feel like? Do I think it's fun too?
I actually want to hear from Genera. Genera, did you that 26 investigation, that was from earlier, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I can roll again.
No, I think I'm just gonna send you a message. I'll send you a message.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
All right. So let me reveal some more areas for you. And you can see that down. Well, actually, let me see. Are you actually like getting? Let me see. Wait. How much is the light spell? The light spell gives you 40 feet radius of light.
Let me check.
Yeah, we have about 15 minutes because I hear you yawning, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling particularly well all of a sudden.
Aww.
I'm sorry to say. It's probably the heat. It's hit 90 degrees today where I live, and I'm not used to that
Yeah.
at all. So give me like 30-degree weather and I'll be outside in a t-shirt, but it hits 90 and I'm useless.
Yeah, and all of us in the Southwest are kind of like, huh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's 102 right now, so.
Ugh. All right, let me see what we have here. Says produce flame, cantrip. The flame sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet.
So, okay, it doesn't quite help you get to the edge of it. Okay.
No, but I figured what it would help me do is if I maybe move along the left wall here and keep examining the wall on the floor as I move along, you know?
Okay. All right. So Pabu Moo sort of form the vanguard. Fred right behind Moo, Cassandra behind Pabu, and then the other goblins behind them. So they're forming a group and sort of sticking together as they sort of move down the hallway.
And I'll move parallel to them, examining the wall on the left-hand side as I go for any unusual features.
So what happens is there's a change. So in the previous hallways and rooms, there didn't seem to be anything really really sort of notable, mostly smooth walls. Now it's not. The walls do not seem smooth anymore. They are still artificially carved, but they are not smooth. Um, Again, there's sort of undulations and bumps and circles, and you'll notice actually there are like holes. They're kind of like holes in the walls, but they're not very deep holes. They're only like maybe 6 inches to a foot deep. So as soon as you walk up to it, you can see right into it.
Would I know whether the holes were made by something natural or artificial? Because I know that like the carving of the room itself is artificial, but what about the holes? Would I be able to tell if those were natural or artificial?
These do seem to be artificial. And they are
Like
very smooth.
drills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. They I'm trying to think. They do seem artificial. Uh, when you said drills, all of a sudden I'm thinking like of like a mechanical drill, like an electrical drill, because it gets that specific kind of
No.
like grating motion. Like no, not that. But
No. There are all sorts of other kinds of. There are lithic drills. There
Yeah.
are old iron drills. There are hand drills. But my concern is there a trap and are things going to go flying out of these holes
none
into
of
our soft bodies?
none of the holes seem to be that deep. Like the holes themselves are actually quite wide. They are 2 to 3 feet in diameter, so 2 to 3 feet wide, and they're just sort of scooped out of the side of the wall. But they only go in maybe 6 inches to a foot to 2 feet. As soon as you come up to the hole, you can see very clearly the bottom of the hole or the back of the hole.
Seem to be like a columbaria or something.
I don't know what a columbaria is.
It's a columbaria is like essentially a dovecote. It's kind of like a place for um, it's a place for the breeding of pigeons. They're everywhere in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. And in Egypt, people have them up on their roofs. First time I visited a friend's house in Egypt, his mom cooked a stuffed pigeon for me that was taken from the columbaria on the roof.
Oh, they're not that. It sounds like something like that, but not quite that small, I think. And they're not.
Sorry, I'm just trying to determine possible function here because you don't go to all the time and trouble of drilling a whole lot of holes into the wall without a purpose for them.
Fred,
Hold on a second. Would they be? Ooh, could these if this is a tomb, could those be ossuaries? Could they be for
they wouldn't be able to hold anything
bones?
because
They
it's
wouldn't be
not a
able to hold
shelf.
anything.
There's no shelf in it. It's literally like someone took an ice cream scoop and like scooped out the wall.
Hmm.
Fred like looks at it and it's like, huh, I've noticed those too. Probably used for ritual purposes.
Oh God, every archaeologist who can't figure out an explanation always says it's freaking for ritual purposes.
As we're trying to decipher what these are, yeah.
Oh.
Does anybody else have any ideas as to what these might be?
Are they uniformly? Is there a uniform pattern, or are these random patterns on the wall?
They look almost regular. Almost kind of think of like when you sort of look at them, they kind of look like when you have like a carton of eggs So you have it sort of arranged like that, but it's not always, they're not always in pairs. Sometimes the pair is missing. Sometimes the slot is a little bit bigger, or right, it's almost regular, but not quite.
Okay, because I'm wondering if like somebody was firing something or slinging things in here, and these are like damage holes. But no, I guess it's ritual.
Well, I think if the whole idea of like an ice cream scoop scooping something out of the wall doesn't seem like impacts, you'd see a different kind of break pattern with impacts. By the way, not to get all geology, but what kind of rock do we see? That is this like a sandstone that it was carved out of, or is this like a harder metamorphic rock, or
Um, this is this is a harder metamorphic rock because you're still in the mesa. This seems like the rock out of the mesa. Um,
yeah, okay.
so I am sort of thinking of the formation of the Devil's Tower or the Bear Claw Lodge in Wyoming, which was
Gotcha.
an extinct volcano. So that's metamorphic. So that's what it is. It looks fairly hard. Um, okay. All right. So all right. So it seems like you're coming into the end of the hallway now. All right. I think you can't quite see much just yet. Okay. You do see so I'm going to give you another picture that I worked so hard on. As you come to the end of the hall, it now starts to change very, very abruptly. The architecture is now becoming, whatever sort of motifs you've been seeing up until this point now become more intense, and I'm going to actually change to a different page. All
Ooh.
right.
Oh my god.
Oh God, it looks almost organic.
No.
I was gonna make a thing. I was gonna say something at the start of all this that your next painting should be the interior of the cave, but wow, you did it! Oh my god!
What is going on in there?
Oh
This is
God,
more natural,
those look
right?
like those look like murder holes in the ceiling.
Murder holes.
The
I,
thing
I
that
I'm kind
oh
of getting alien vibes.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
yeah,
getting.
this is really
Spaceship.
interesting me.
Oh, they mostly come to the mesa, mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, whoa! Get rid of these and get. I don't want to draw on this beautiful painting.
You're not going to take was it the charcoal rubbings or
Oh god.
Right.
So are we gonna is something from Alien gonna pop out? The Alien, perhaps?
um
Oh my god.
so the thing that I want, so one of the things that I'm going to sort of caution you, because I want to make sure that this is clear about it, is that I'm going to take you back over to the other one. Yeah, this one. Don't click the wrong map. No, no, I don't want any tick mistakes this time. Accidentally reveal the wrong map. Oh no. So, uh, as you sort of are looking through as you sort of looking through it, the tunnel is no longer straight. It's starting to curve a lot. Like it kind of like zigzags back and forth. It still seems artificial, but now it's very difficult for you to see straight down the hallway now.
Okay.
and it is about the end of our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was about to say that because I really need a break, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
not feeling very well. I think the
Oh.
heat's getting to me.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
take care.
So, thank you everybody for indulging me in my very slow and deliberate dungeon crawl. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll start
Yeah, no,
posting
this
pictures
was
on Twitter. I'll go
this
for it.
is- Oh, I was gonna say this is exciting.
It's really fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of the evening. We'll see you all in 2 weeks, everybody. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.